Good morning. This is TMI Socials. Welcome on board. I am Anwuluwakpo Stevens. Better still call me a social media butterfly. Now this morning we kickstart with the biggest story trending at the moment on socials, hashtag JAMB, that's JAMB. Well, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has admitted that errors affected candidates' performance during the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, which was held across different centers in the country. The registrar of the board, Ishaq Oloyede, who disclosed this during a media briefing in Abuja yesterday, also broke down in tears while admitting to the error. He also announced that about 379,997 candidates in the just concluded 2025 exercise would retake the examination. Now, this followed widespread complaints of technical glitches, unusually low scores, and alleged irregularities in the questions and the answers during the exercise. Now, let's have a feel of the press briefing yesterday in Abuja. Take a look.
As registrar of JAMB, I hold myself personally responsible including for the negligence of the service provider and I unreservedly apologize for it. And the trauma it has affected Nigerians to, directly or indirectly. We have decided that all the candidates affected in the 157 centers of the 882 be contacted to retake their examinations.
Well, it's indeed a sad situation, as we had a particular 19-year-old girl in Lagos State, Nigeria, who took her life because she scored poorly at JAMB. Now, and this is coming out really quite sad anyway. Over to reactions and tweets on the story. We kickstart with this user who says, JAMB should be scrapped. Let universities conduct their entrance exams. Well, another user respondent says, this is commendable. Owning up to errors shows true leadership. Well, still on this bit, over to other reactions. This user respondent wrote, no need apologizing. He would have just resigned. They released the result because they thought Nigerians would keep quiet. Thanks to all who spoke out. Now, finally on the story, okay, away from that, let's move over to power. Now, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has said the country needs $10 billion annually to fix the crisis in the power sector. Now, the minister spoke on Tuesday at the commissioning ceremony of the Phase 1 600 kilograms solar PV power plant at the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna. The minister also emphasized the need to bridge over 50% metering gap, which he said the presidential initiative aims to achieve through a 10 million meter installation in the next 5 years. And this got a lot of Nigerians talking as we move over to tweets and reactions. Let's have your say on the story. Now, the first user responding, moving over to tweets and reactions, well, the first user responding actually says, in other words, it's simply impossible for Nigeria to have uninterrupted electricity? Well, I don't think so. Another user says, even countries whose electrical cables run underground don't have such budget. I mean, how much is that? Okay, well, still on this bit, this user responding, Omar, this money he mentioned is too small for a geopolitical zone self. Tell me about it. Now, moving over to my third story for you for today will be Dangote, who was seen exchanging pleasantries with President Donald Donald Trump during the U.S. president's visit to Qatar. Well, African richest person Aliko Dangote was among those who exchanged pleasantries with the American president yesterday in Qatar. A video in circulation showed Dangote being introduced to the American president during the visit by the Emir of Qatar. Let's take a look. Well, according to Border Boy, even Dangote is still looking for money at this point. Moving over to reactions and tweets, we'll see how you reacted to this viral video. Well, this user says, so no big politician from Nigeria went to shake hands with Donald Trump. Are they scared of the American president or what? Come on now, come off it. Well, another user said, men pass men, sha. Dangote is super rich, but still bow before superior men. Can you beat Donald Trump? Now, this user responding says, I hate how they train Africans to bow down while shaking hands. It makes Dangote here look small. I wish he would stop the bending stuff. He's above all that. He's old and wealthy. I mean, Africa's richest man. Can you beat that? Well, back here in Nigeria, a viral video of a former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, has called President Bola Tinubu to compensate the family of the late Moshood Abiola with 45 billion as restitution for the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election. Now, Lamido made the call on Tuesday during the public presentation of his autobiography, Been True to Myself, in Abuja. He argued that the payment would not only symbolize justice, but also offer a moral closure to what remains one of Nigeria's most painful democratic reversal. Let's take a look.
Before I end my remarks, I would like to appeal to the President Tinubu, to close the chapter of June 12. In his book, General Babangida revealed that Abiola won the election. He said that. When I went to him, he said that Abiola, the election was held because Abiola was being owed 45 billion naira. And therefore, he became the president, was going to pay himself the money. So it means Abiola is being doubly punished. Denies his own presidency and also his own money. So please, tell the president, please let him pay to Abiola family the money for which he has been suffering, for which he has been denied his own presidency, 45 billion naira. It's very, very important. When this money is paid, just will be closed. I thank you very much.
Well, you've heard it loud and clear, 45 billion naira. How do Nigerians take this? Have a couple of tweets. Now, this user responded, wrote, so the people that lost their lives in Enugu, Benue, Jos, who will compensate the families? Question. Another user says, nah, that's senseless. Abiola's sacrifice wasn't for his family, but for the whole of Nigeria. Instead, let the government take the funds raised for Babangida during his book launch, build the biggest hospital in West Africa with it, and name it June 12 Hospital. Now, another user respondent says, this one has already negotiated 10% with Abiola's family. Oh, come on. Social media users and their reactions is totally off. Now, we get a wrap up here on my socials with the Lagos State story, where the Lagos State government has said it is working to introduce monthly and quarterly rent payment options as part of efforts to reduce the financial pressure on residents, especially low-income earners. Now, the State Commissioner for Housing disclosed this on Tuesday during the 2025 ministerial press briefing to mark Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's second year in office. Well, Akinde Rufai said the planned policy is a continuation of the state's drive to make housing more accessible and affordable. Now, How did Lagosians take this? And also netizens as well. This user wrote, a country with no social insurance system wants to adopt monthly rent payment. Someone will now lose his job and lose his shelter. Oh, well, that's like double loss. Another user, Eniola Sarah, says, this one will now be the new scam. Monthly rent care. No. It's okay like this because the monthly payment will be outrageous. Now, still in the story, this user responding, sometimes rent is not even the problem, but charges from the agent. Now, one more reaction on the story as we get to wrap up. Okay, so I feel that's all we have on that story today, but would it work or not, monthly payment for rent? We'll see how things goes right there in Lagos, Nigeria. But anyway, we're going to wrap up TMI Socials that way. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I am Anuluwapo Stevens, and from all of us in This Morning on ITV, right here in Adel State, Lagos, and also Abuja, have yourself a beautiful day ahead, and of course, a fantastic weekend ahead.